Alright, so now, bear with me, it's going to be a little bit sloppy and a little bit improficient. So, what I've got here is I've got one of these Ryobi color temperature work lights, and before I actually take it off the ceiling that I've screwed it to, and we look at the thing itself, I wanted to show you how it works in video. So right now, I've got it in what I would consider its best case scenario. I'm shooting at ISO 200, which is the lowest in this camera. We're doing a 20th of a second at 24p, which is a little less than half the desired exposure setting at f5.6. And so, at a 20th of a second, as far as I can tell, on the screen I see very little flickering happening. The trouble is, this isn't really ideal because you usually want, what, a 40th of a second, 50th of a second if you're doing 24p. So if we change that, let me just get in here. We're gonna change. Well, before I get ahead of myself, let's change our ISO so we can accommodate. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Our f-stop. We're gonna go here. Change our f-stop. We're gonna go down to like f4. Yeah, I know it's too bright. Just bear with me. Bear with me for just a second. All right. It's too bright. I get it. We're gonna. All right. Here's a 45th of a second. Here's a 60th of a second shutter speed. Let's do 45th of a second. All right. So here we are. f3.5, 40th of a second, ISO 200. What I've got now, my little dial is probably a little closer to 5,000K than it is to 2,700K as far as being in the center. I'm going to start at 5,000K. By the way, I've got the white balance on the camera set to shady, I think, which is about 5,000K. So everything should look more or less the way it looks in real life. You know, that looks accurate, right? All right, here's a beer. Alright, we got a beer, tape measure, pair of pliers, we got a tool. Alright, I'm going to slowly ramp the dial down from 5,000K to 2,700K, beginning now. And again, we've got some window light coming in too. It's a kind of overcast day, but it's bright out. And we're nearly at 2,700K, and we are at 2,700K now. So, on the screen I don't see a lot of flickering, but I definitely see some. Let me turn the radio off so I don't get fucking tagged for having music playing or something. Alright, radio's off. Don't mind the mic. It's a built-in mic. This doesn't have a pluggable mic. This is the best I can do. We're going to put it back where I think is good. Just shy of 5,000K. And so you see that flickering? Yeah, I see a lot of flickering. So if we fuck with things a little bit, we might be able to make it work like we had before. So we're going to go back to a shutter speed of a 20th of a second, and the F number to whatever we need to make it look appropriate. Expose so I can see the Apple logo. Yeah, not too bright, not too dim. Yeah, there we go. F5.6, 20th of a second. Now, 20th of a second, motion looks like this. Here's motion. This is things happening. Motion, motion, motion. See the motion? I see motion. Do you see motion? Alright, motion. You see motion. Motion might seem almost too smooth because we're at such a low shutter speed. If we go to the, we'll go back again to the desired shutter speed and the desired, associated exposure setting to make it look correct. So we'll go back to like f3.5, and we'll go back to a shutter speed of a 45th of a second, which is, bog standard, regular, what you'd expect to use for 24p video. Here's motion again. Motion. Motion. Same light source, same everything. Different exposure settings to get the same exposure value, more or less. But motion might look a little bit more natural, true to life. Here's fast motion. Alright. I'm going to go back again. Here we go. Back and forth, back and forth. Oh, it's hot in here. Holy shit, it's ever hot in here. Shutter speed down to a 20th of a second. I don't think I can go any slower than that. No, I can't. 20th of a second is as slow as she goes. And then we're going to change our f-stop to make up the difference in exposure here. Is that about right? Let's see. f6.7. Yeah, f6.7 appears to be more correct than f5.6. So here's fast motion. This is at a 20th of a second. All right. So let's take the light down and take a look at it. The actual light itself. without making my camera fall onto the ground, because that would really ruin my fucking day. Old place. It's dark. It's dark and scary. Alright, so here's the light itself. I'm going to turn some lights on so you can see things better. And we're going to adjust our exposure so it's correct again. We need to make our shutter speed a little bit. Maybe let in a little bit more light through the aperture. Change our shutter speed up to, you know, a 30th of a second, a 45th of a second. Alright, boy, we're just being real putsy here. Thanks for being patient. I really appreciate it. I know it ain't easy because, you know, everybody's so fucking good at this, and I'm just a ding-dong over here, horsing around like an idiot. How's that look? Like, too bright. Nope. Whoa, 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 what am I doing? What am I doing? It's just because of the light's coming in from a different angle. It's coming in from, like, you know, this way, as opposed to this way. So that's okay. Alright, so here's the light we're looking at. Now, because I don't really like Ryobi that much, I'm not gonna buy their batteries. I like these things, the ones that are blue, teal. I like these. So I bought this thing. It's a adapter. You see that all right? Yeah, you got it? You got me? Yeah, I got a adapter. So you stick the adapter into the Makita battery, and you got yourself Ryobi capable Makita batteries now. It doesn't feel perfect. It feels pretty good. But if you look, it's a little bit weeble wobbly. It doesn't want to... It stays in all right, but I wouldn't use this in a tool that actually shakes around a lot, because it doesn't feel super duper tight. But it works well enough for a light. A light's not going to move a whole bunch on you. So here we have it. We've got a nice little light. This thing is the... I don't have a zoom lens. I'm having a fixed focal length lens, so hopefully you can see that all right. Yes! This video is only in 720p because I don't feel like having a gigantic file to work with, so just, you know, make your screen smaller and everything will look great. Squint if you need to, whatever. Let's turn the light on. We're going to set it all the way down to 5 or up to 5000K. And the light is on. Whoa, look at that. Wow, oh, it's a fucking light. Holy shit. And we're going to slowly ramp it through its range. About halfway through. Oh, nope, my mistake. It actually goes much faster than you think it will. So that's 5000K. And that's 2700K. And if you look at it here, what I'll do is I'll change my change my exposure settings again so you can see the individual diodes. We're going to stop down that lens a bit. Yeah, you see that? Or F16. So there's the individual diodes. And if you look, it's got a pair of diodes, and it just kind of hands the power over from one set of diodes to the other. So there's 8 surface mount diodes on a big heat-absorbing aluminum substrate. Fuck. And if you look through here, you can't see. I'll go back to that in a second. Let's look at the diode some more. So there we go. It's got more power settings too. I can reduce it to a little bit less bright, and even dimmer yet, and you can really see the flicker now. So here's a good view. Yeah, we'll keep it at the dimmest setting. At its dimmest setting, you can kind of get a good idea of exactly how this thing works. There's the coolest color temperature and the warmest color temperature, and it's actually very smooth at transitioning from one to the other. It's a very analog, I mean, it's obviously digital, but it's very, you get a lot of control over it. But you can kind of see that diode just kind of go boop, and now we're on, boop, and now we're on. And that's just the smallest little movement of my thumb here on this knob. Alright, so we're going to keep her just shy of 5000K. And we're going to set our exposure settings back so we can actually view this alright. We're going to go back to F4. Yeah, F4 is good. And you can see, even at the low, well, especially at the lowest setting, the pulsing is pretty evident. It just pulls instead of being a nice, you know, smooth video conducive light source. It's really not. So if you're buying this thinking, oh sweet, I'm gonna use this to blend in with whatever ambient lighting I have and use it like a fill light for making video for, you know, like minimal effort but still controlled light situations ain't gonna work. At least not my opinion. Unless you're cool shooting at a 20th of a second, which I don't think a lot of guys are. So, and again, I'm just a total noob. I don't know anything. Maybe there's something I don't know that I'm missing that would make this work really well. But from what I can tell, it seems to be not very good at being a video light, because the fact that the PWM or whatever mechanism that controls the way that these things emit light, it's not the same as what you get when you buy a dedicated video LED light. I don't know if I think it's just not as fast. The refresh rate isn't so fast that it's indiscernible for a camera, like an incandescent light. I think the intended purpose of this light is for painting. You know, put it in a room that you're painting, and you can, I don't know if you use it while you're painting or before you paint or after you paint or what, but I thought it was neat for 70 bucks. I mean, I paid 50 bucks for this thing, and it's like, you know, nowhere near as bright, but it's really handy. Oops, turn it on. And I mean, I figured for 20 bucks more, I can easily afford to buy a whole other product that's $20 more than the one that I already own. That's, you know, different, and therefore, but yeah, you know, it's just one of those things. I convinced myself I needed it, and so I bought it. And it works all right. I like it. I'm gonna turn it off now. Put it away. So, I mean, this thing is great because I don't need to buy Ryobi batteries. I don't want to buy Ryobi batteries. I already have enough batteries as it is. I don't want to have another charger lying around. I don't want to have more batteries floating around. If I need to buy a Ryobi tool, the second one I think I'm going to buy is probably that hot glue gun. It looks pretty cool. Maybe one of their fans. But this works pretty damn well, I would say, as far as, you know, with this battery, this little adapter. Yeah, it's just a piece of plastic. I don't know what kind of plastic it is. Maybe it's nylon or something. It feels pretty strong. Maybe it says on here somewhere. No, it doesn't seem to. One of you plastic people probably know what kind of plastic this is. It's thick. Look at it. Can you see that? It's thick. Nice and thick. It's just two big metal knives, or shunts as I like to call them. I think shunt's the right word. And they go in there and they just make contact with these shunts here. So you just slide your battery onto it. It clicks on nice and reliably. The mechanism which retains the Makita battery is very, you know, robust. Just a big opening in the plastic, and then you just shove her in there. And it also works on an extension cord too. So if you wanted to skip the battery, excuse me, you can just plug a fucking extension cord into it. This is the Ryobi P795. You see that all right? Huh? Can you see that all right? Yeah, I know, the light's beneath me, not up there, so you probably can't see it all that well, but you can probably see it well enough. So yeah, as far as being a video light, I'm not convinced it's great, because of the fact that it emits such a flickery kind of light. And it seems to, you know, the flicker varies based on the color temperature you're using, because the PWM it uses to achieve the effect, you know, it varies the power of the two sets of 4 diodes. It's varying the output of each set. So at each extreme, it's got the least amount of flicker. But anywhere in between, it's got quite a bit. So if you need to really just match 5000K or match 2700K, it might be workable, as long as it's not your key light. Let me turn the interior lights off again, just to play with it some more. Now that we've got it down here versus up there. So here we are down here. We're going to beam it that way. We are at 5000K. And we're going to ramp it slowly to 2700K. Yeah. We'll do that again, facing upward. Ooh, look at the reflection of the diodes. Meow, 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 meow. Pretty cool, huh? Where's the knob? There it is. We're going to ramp it. Yeah, you can see in the reflection of the lens flare on the, I guess that's the front element making that reflection. There's no filter on this lens, just the bare exposed glass elements. Ooh, risky. No lens filter. Wow. Or cover, whatever the fuck you call it. So, you know, it works okay, but like I say, you get that flicker. And if we reduce the power to half, I'd say the flicker becomes even more evident yet. Even at the most extreme setting for cool and warm, you see even more flicker. And in the lowest setting, naturally because it's doing more PWM stuff to modulate that frequency of the diode being on and off. Diodes don't have less output, they just have, you know, a different duty cycle, a different frequency of output being on or off. It's just off more than it's on, if that makes sense. So, off now. And back on again. Ryobi. And so, I like it. I'm going to use it for stuff. I might use it if the power goes out. And it's been a long day. I've had a couple of these things and words. All in all, it's a pretty cool little tool. For 70 bucks, you know, at Home Depot or something. I think if you can get it online on Amazon, it's actually more. It's like 90 bucks or something. I think it changes in price a little bit. But I like it. Again, it's basically just a fancy nightlight. When the power goes out, you just stick it in the corner and beam it against a wall or something, and you can be like, ooh, well, I feel like having a romantic mood, or I don't know. Depending on who you are, it may have absolutely no use whatsoever. But I think the fact that it's just a nice, relatively well-built, sturdy work light that happens to change color temperature is pretty cool. Because the base, it's nice. It's a very... Let me turn the light back on. Hang on. The base itself is pretty good. You know, it's got a nice... This is like a dampened adjuster. You can also change the tension of it so you can kind of lock it in position. So you can lock it if you wanted to. But because the weight of the front and the weight of the back with a 5 amp hour battery, it's pretty well balanced and it stays right where you put it. I like that. On the bottom there's a regular 1/4-20 socket, so if you wanted to you could stick it on a tripod or, you know, anything really. It's got these big crosses so you could just slide it onto some screws. It's got a lot of mounting options and it feels like it's actually pretty well built. I think it's probably one of Ryobi's, you know, more well thought out products. I'm not a huge fan of their stuff, typically speaking, but I like it. I think it's kind of neat. And I don't know, I guess I don't really have any more to say about it than that. I wish, I mean, for 70 bucks, you can't expect them to make, like some kind of a weird, slippery, you know, accidentally happens to work perfectly for professional videographer type of light. That probably cost a lot more money to have, you know, a cleaner and more robust circuit to produce a nice, even, perfect, non-flickering light source. But either if you're in a pinch, or if you're using it for its intended purpose, painting, it's probably pretty good. The beam pattern's pretty wide. It's almost 180 degrees, like 165 degrees, 160. I don't know. But even when it's at one setting or the other, it seems like the hot spot is always a little bit of a, it's kind of got a cast to it. As you can see, no matter what I do, if you look out here, yeah, we're gonna just do this. I'm just gonna shut up for a second. I'm gonna turn the knob. And you can just look at it and see what it does. Here's a thing in front of it. And there's another thing in front of it. You can't see that thing. Now you can see that thing. And make sure it's in focus. All right, and we're going cool. Warm. And back to cool. So if you look really carefully, you can kind of see the width of the beam actually change a little bit based on the set of diodes it's using too. It's pretty insignificant. My phone's ringing. Are you serious? And yeah, worth looking at. But if you want to use it for a video light, it's probably not going to be the right stuff. But still, thanks for taking a second and wasting your time with me.